I'll apologise in advance. You probably expect a couple of questions on how we're in this situation, so I might as well kick off with them, if you don't mind. I think the first thing is, how challenging was it for you to accept the role, to take Wales, lead Wales to the European Championships, given the circumstances surrounding Ryan's reasons for not being there? Not asking you at all to talk about the court proceedings or anything like that, just the circumstances by which you've had to take the role.
Well, of course, the difficult circumstances, like you've just alluded to. So, you can't. There's no hiding away from that. But it is what it is. This is the situation we've been put in. So we're dealing with it in the best way possible. And of the previous two camps, the boys have reacted in a positive way. They've not been affected by it whatsoever. And I think common sense prevails, and it's continuity that the players want as well. Finally, thankfully we're all clear in what's going to happen, and that's Ryan included, and myself and all the players now, and all of us associated with the team moving forward, and we can focus on the job in hand, and that's planning and preparing a team now ready to compete in the Euros.
In the last two camps, you've been very upfront and said, listen, this is how it works, etc. But there was contact with Ryan. Is that not going to be the case now? Is it solely up to yourself, Albert, and the other coaches to take Wales? Will there be any involvement of Ryan in the Euros?
No, I mean, I had a great conversation with Ryan last week. Obviously, we've been in touch. You don't go from being friends and work colleagues and working together in a close environment to then not speaking. Of course, I'm going to speak to him, and he wants what's best for Wales. So, yes, with regards to decisions and finalising things, that'll be me. But what Ryan has said, that, if I need any advice or if I need a different perspective on things, then he's always going to be there. He wants what's best for Wales as well, So it's great to hear that. But ultimately now the decisions moving forward will be from myself and Albert and Tony Strudwick and Tony Roberts and the collective as a group.
Rob, can you look longer term beyond the Euros in terms of your position and your role? Or are you just looking at being the manager for the Euros? Can you look at all beyond the Euros?
No, not at all. Absolutely not. No, we're fully focused on, we've got an EFL camp coming up in a couple of weeks. Then we've got a trip to Portugal planned. There's enough organisation, enough detail and planning that's got to go into that. Then, we've got the Euros to get through. And then obviously we have got September, but that's a long way off. We've got enough on our plate at the minute to deal with and occupy ourselves. So I'm just going to throw myself into this and do what's best for Wales.
I'm just coming back to some technicalities with UEFA. They confirmed news that we knew last week that squad sizes increase up to 26. Yeah. How does that impact you? Is it a hindrance? Does it help Wales?
No, I don't see it as a hindrance at all, Gareth. I think it's great news from our point of view because, listen, the players have had an unprecedented season. They've never seen anything like this. The schedule that all players have had to go through in recent weeks especially has been ridiculous. 2 games a week. They've probably not been on the grass a lot, to train. They've just had game after game. So common sense, again, provided them. We've got 26-man squad now. We've got a couple of players that are, just about going to be fit for the tournament. So that gives us an opportunity, whereas in the past, if it was 23, we would have just selected 23 absolutely fit players raring to go, and they might have missed out for whatever reason for the injuries. So by having that 3 extra players, we can bring them, knowing that it might be game 1, game 2 that they're fit for. So it gives us a little bit of breathing space as well. So for us, it's a definite positive.
And just looking on that, it's always the worry whenever you have a tournament, injuries. I suppose 2-part question. What's the state of play with a number of players at the moment, in terms of, obviously Aaron hasn't been available for the past couple of camps. Joe Allen got injured in the Belgian game last time round. Do you have enough cotton wool to put around Gareth Bale? All those kind of things. What's the situation with injuries, Rob, and how you manage that over the next month, 6 weeks?
Well, we have to rely on a little bit of luck for that as well. We can do all the planning and we have to rely on the clubs looking after the players, which they absolutely do in the main. So, and then when we get them in, we'll assess each individual and see what their needs are, see what we need to get them on the grass and with what we need to cover. And again, it's a common sense approach. We have got an EFL camp because the championship season finishes a little bit earlier. So we will, give them individual programs while they're on the 4-day camp with us. and see what they need. Some might need a little bit more than others. With regards to the lads you've spoken to with injuries, it'd be nice to get them on the camp as well and sort of take over the plan that they've got from their club and have a say in what goes on with that, and drip feed them back into training from that point of view as well. So yeah, we'll have to. It's not wrapping them in cotton wool; it's getting them ready mentally and physically. Don't forget they're off the back of a very demanding season, so it's about preparing them physically and mentally ready for a tough camp that's ahead of us. And to do that, not only from the players, but we need extra coaches. We're a coach down, so I've made a decision to bring Kit Simons back in. Kit's got a wealth of experience. He's been part of the 2016 success that they had with Chris, and I think it's a positive move for us, not only for the staff and the players who know him, but from us coaches that have not worked with him. But he just gives a different dynamic. And first and foremost, he's a good bloke, and to bring him back into this environment with that wealth of experience he's had in the tournament environment is definitely a positive.
Just on sort of just coming back, if you may, on Aaron, how confident are you that he can be fully fit for the first game? But it's not just. I know you could probably say yes to that. It's how can you get him fit for a tournament? Certainly for a group stage. How confident are you that he could give you, fingers crossed, 3 games in the group stages?
Yeah, well, we're going to have to assess that when he comes on. Obviously, we want to get him through the door first and foremost. We want to get him on camp. I know he's absolutely going to want to be part of it. We can't help injuries and soft tissue tears that they get along the way. We can't help that. What we can do as well, we've got them on camp, is manage the minutes on the grass. And again, it comes down to a little bit of, individual programs. Some players are more robust than others. Some can play, 2 games in quick succession. Others can't. And again, we'll have to manage that because, we want our best players fit, and he certainly comes into that category. It's been a frustrating time for all of us concerned with Aaron and himself. He's going to be frustrated with himself because he wants to play international football. And it's about us managing him and getting him in that best physical peak condition that we can to enable us to be able to pick him every game.
Rob, listen, final question from me before I hand on to everyone else. So thanks for your time. Just COVID. The concerns that you having to overcome so that the camp, you're able to do what you want to do. How will the bubble work? But also as well as the success of 4 or 5 years ago as it was now is that Wales had fun. It was a fun camp. It was fun to be around. Everyone else sort of fed off the fun. The difficulties of making it fun thanks to COVID. Can you try and explain how it's going to work with the protocols and restrictions that you've potentially got to work under?
Yeah, I think it's a tough environment to be involved in anyway. When we have 10-day camps, they can be quite intense. Obviously, we're going to be a lot longer. We want to go quite a considerable way in the competition. So potentially it could be 4 or 5 weeks altogether. Put COVID on top of the mix as well. It's going to make it more demanding. I can't praise the backroom staff enough, with all the detail and planning that goes into it. And again, it's added pressure now because of COVID. So little things like, getting extra marquees when we go to Azerbaijan and as our base and when our training facility is. Can we create an environment there where there's a little bit of downtime, but it's still within our bubble? We have to be respectful to that as well. And the protocol we've got to stick to, absolutely. I think our record with COVID tests has been, second to none in all the previous camps. And I know that will continue. And yeah, it's doing our best to create an environment where the lads enjoy coming in. It can't be too intense every day. We have to take our foot off a little bit and give them a little bit of downtime where they can socialise together, and there might be opportunities for them to play golf. And, it's little things like that you can do that can raise morale and keep them all on track.
Rob, listen, thanks ever so much. Best of luck, and I'll see you soon. Thanks ever so much.
Pleasure. Thanks, Geraint. Cheers.
Geraint, move on to Gav Pritchard.
Hi, Rob. Hope you're well.
All good, thanks.
Just to check with the news last month that you are taking charge now, would it be telling, was it significant that you were mentioned in the FAW press release as manager? Do you feel very much as manager, or does this still feel like a temporary measure for you?
Yeah, no, it's a good point. No, it's just the terminology they've used, to describe it. My job doesn't change. I'm pagey to the players. I still want to be called that from the players and the staff. Nothing changes with regards to that. yes, I'm in charge of the decisions now, and if people want to see that as a manager, then great. But from the players' point of view, I'm still Pagey. They still, answer to myself, Albert, and Tony Strudwick, and nothing changes with regards to that. Certainly from my point of view.
And does this feel a bit like a line in the sand now? Is this very much your team, Albert's team, for the next few months?
Yeah, it's been difficult, hasn't it? But I think now there's clarity on the situation for, not only for Ryan as well, so he can focus on what he's got to do. And from all the players, supporters, FAW staff members, myself, Albert, Tony, from the staff point of view now, we're fully focused on what's ahead of us. And we're all looking forward to it now. It's a great opportunity for the boys to compete against the best in Europe and show what we're capable of doing, which we have done in previous camps. So it's one now that we've got clarity on the situation. We're all looking forward to it.
And one of your first big jobs will be to select the squad. I know there's a bit of water to pass under the bridge before then. How certain are you of your 26 at this moment in time?
Well, you've just alluded to it there. There's a couple of games to go. I am, holding my breath a little bit. I want obviously everybody to come through unscathed. It's helped us a little bit by having that extra 3 players in the squad to make it 26, which is great for the reasons I gave earlier. It's been a demanding season for a lot of those players, and with a couple that we've got, just coming back from fitness, it gives us an extra couple of games and weeks to get them back up to full fitness. So for us, it's great having that extra 26, and it makes the job a little bit easier to select the players.
And you touched on the fitness of a few players earlier. With Joe Allen in particular, Michael O'Neill, his manager at Stoke, said he expected him to be fit for the Euros last time he gave a kind of detailed update, but we still haven't seen him. Can you bring us up to date with his latest prospects of being fit for the Euros?
Yeah, I think it's looking good, providing nothing significant happens from now until we meet up on camp. I've spoken with Michael myself. I know Sean, head of medical, is in close contact with all the clubs that the injured players are involved with. So we're on the front foot with it, and it's looking very positive with Joe, which is great. We know what he brings to the team and to the group, and that's certainly one that we want to get back in as soon as possible.
Another important player missing at the moment, Ben Davies. How is he coming along? Do you expect him to be fit as well?
Yeah, it's good news with Ben as well. He's back on the grass, so all's positive there. And like I said, it'd be nice now when we meet up to get him back in our camp. Sean again is in contact with Tottenham and looking forward to the plan that he's got to get him back up to full fitness and helping him achieve that.
And if I could as well, last time we spoke, the issue of racism is very prominent. It hasn't gone away. It won't do anytime soon. And Rabbi Matondo has been abused again. We've just had the social media boycott from football clubs and organisations. Have you and the FAW discussed taking any kind of similar potential action over the next couple of months?
Yeah, we did. We joined the boycott. Absolutely, as an association, is the right thing to do. And it's not going to solve the problem. You still get idiots out there that still think it's okay to do that. I think what we are doing by taking the knee is raising awareness to the people out there that are abusing the players and saying it's not acceptable. By doing the boycott and joining in with that, it's making the owners of these platforms stand up and take notice and say, we want to let our voices heard here, and that's all it is. We're not going to get rid of them straight away. And we've been in contact with Rabbi straight away. Been in contact with him this morning, like I was in the previous camp. With him and Ben Cabango. So, we're dealing with it and we're there to support them fully.
Appreciate it, Rob. Thank you.
Cheers, thanks.
Diolch, Daf. Lawrence Mora.
Sorry, just busily typing away notes there, Rob. Listen, congratulations. I know you must be incredibly proud on this, but how have the last few weeks been for you? Has it been something of a whirlwind? Yeah,
of course, absolutely. The boys have been great. First and foremost, the staff and the players have been absolutely spot on. They have in the previous 2 camps. There's been a lot going on off the field, and they haven't got distracted by it. And that speaks volumes about them as a group of people. And we're all looking forward to getting together. I've spoken with a few senior players in the last couple of weeks, and they're all, they're all excited now, all excited to get together and get this tournament started and the build up to it.
Another person who's probably quite excited is Kit Simons. Can you tell us how that went? He missed out on Euro 2016, didn't he? So this is a huge moment for him.
It is, yeah. He was part of it with Chris, but you're right. He wasn't, part of the coaching setup, and then the day in, day out. But he had a big part to say in it and the success that they had. I've known Kit for years. I've played with Kit for Wales, and first and foremost, he's a good bloke. He's a top man. So, and he's a very good coach. He's great with the players, great with the staff, and to have that wealth of experience that he's had from that tournament environment as well is invaluable. So I met with him, had a great conversation with him, and I feel it's the right thing to do to bring him on board. We're a coach down anyway, so to get him involved and the staff know him, and it's a positive from their point of view. So yeah, really looking forward to working with him.
Just looking at how you handled then the 2 international windows that you were in charge for in a temporary basis, are you looking to kind of change things a little bit? Are there things that you wanted to do there that you feel you can now do?
No. If you're successful, and we have been in the previous 2 camps, and even before that, since Ryan first took over, the introduction of the younger players coming into the squad, and these younger players have had a lot of success quite early on, playing for Wales. So it's managing those expectations, but dealing with that group of players has been easy, has been great. So nothing needs to change, in my opinion. If it does, I'll be on the front foot. I've got staff around me that are brilliant as well. And I will make the necessary changes that we feel we need to. But at this moment in time, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
And you must be very happy seeing Gareth Bale getting minutes at the moment and looking right on form at the weekend.
Yeah, I spoke with Gareth last week. He's, like I said, he's really enjoying his football, and he's to score the goals he did, I thought was tremendous. The quality of his finishes was second to none. Harry Wilson getting his first, career hat-trick was great and great for us. Great for us. In a rich vein of form going into the tournament. So you want all your players, scoring goals going into tournaments, and that's great to see those doing it.
What realistically can we achieve at this tournament, Rob?
Well, we're just going to take each game as it comes. We've set a high bar from before, and of course we want to match that. So we want to just continue along this path. We've got a couple of tough friendlies. We've got some great camps coming up to get us all together. But what I will say is, mentally and physically, they'll all be ready for this tournament coming up, and I know we'll all be looking forward to it.
Cheers, Rob.
Cheers. Thanks.
Lawrence and Beth Fisher.
Hey, Rob, you're right. You said that captaining Wales over Hungary in 2005 was your proudest moment. Does this beat it, managing Wales at Euros?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's phenomenal. Yeah, it's a dream come true. Absolutely.
And I know you've been asked this question in this presser, and I know it's strange circumstances, but sport is like that. But I mean, do you feel a bit funny having to taking over in these circumstances, or you kind of just thinking, right, here's my opportunity, and it, and look at it like that?
No, I spoke with Ryan, myself, and Ryan. We want what's best for Wales. We absolutely do. So it's the right thing to do. Everybody's got clarity on what we're doing and where we're going, from the supporters' point of view to the FAW staff members, to the coaching staff, to the players. Everybody now knows what's in front of us, and it's about now everybody acquitting ourselves right and giving the best opportunity to go and win games of football on a great platform. And like I said, we're all looking forward to it.
Well, obviously, we know the 2016 story, and then kind of Wales went in there kind of reasonably unknown. It's going to be completely different now. And we've known this from the qualifiers recently as well. There's huge expectation now. Is that going to spur the team on, or is that pressure which you didn't have before?
Well, when you win games of football, expectation raises, and you are expected to compete at the top against the top teams. We have to manage that expectation, of course we do. I've just said, a couple of minutes ago, that there are a young group of players that have come into it. We've had a lot of success in a couple of years. And against Belgium, I thought it was a bit of a leveler. It was all right. This is where we're at. And as much as we competed second half, and I thought we'd give a great account of ourselves and played some good football second half, and the goal was outstanding. It is a bit of a reality check and a level as to where we're at in our development, and with what we've done in the last couple of years with introducing the younger players through. So, yeah, there's the expectations have raised, rightly so, and we are in a position now where we will go out and give our all and compete with the best.
And given the circumstances, you wouldn't have had that game against Belgium a year ago if the years had happened. So in a funny way, it may have helped your cause for the month to come?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you play against the best. It gives you a little bit of a gauge as to where we're at, and you're right. It's given us a little bit of an eye opener now as to what we're going to face in the Euros. We've got a tough friendly against France coming up as well. So yeah, they're good games to have, and when you play football, and you want to be, you want to play against the best teams, and they certainly, Belgium and France certainly fall into that category.
Anyone being involved in any sport, tournaments are just the best. What are you most looking forward to? I know the football, obviously, but for those luckily or not lucky enough to be part of it, what can you say about that?
Look, we work with a great staff and a great group of lads, and I'm looking forward to creating an environment where we enjoy coming into training. We've got to get the balance right. It can't be intense every day, but I'm looking forward to working with a great group of lads every day, and watching them go out and perform to the best that they possibly can, and hopefully do Wales proud.
Last question on me. Dad mentioned about the racism again happened to Rabi. If social media sort it out, there's still issues on the pitch in the stands. Do you feel the likes of UEFA, FIFA have to kind of do more to match what social media companies have been asked of them?
Yeah, I mean, we've got the 3-step process, haven't we? So ultimately, you can get the game abandoned, you can get the players off the pitch. So the players are going on to games with that reassurance, then knowing that there is an end to it if things get too bad. With regards to social media, like I've said, as an association, we've done our bit, we've joined in. It's just making the people who can make the changes aware of it, that it's not acceptable.
I mean, I don't want to be too negative, but, in Rome, there could be fans. And we know in Italy, there have been issues in racism in the stands. Would you say that the Wales will be very kind of on board with that 3-step process then, if that does happen? Absolutely. Yeah, our players are first and foremost. That's what's important. We will not tolerate any form of abuse. Yeah. Listen, congratulations. See you in a couple of weeks. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Sianna David.
Hi, Rob.
How are you doing?
I might repeat some of the questions that have already been, but in terms of the situation with gigs, mentally, how much does it help you that you are now the manager, that you're not the interim manager? Does that sort of put an extra stride in your step, if you like?
No, not really. What it does do is it gives clarity now to everybody involved, and to know, right, I'm in charge, and I'll be making the decisions moving forward. Everybody knows exactly where we stand. I've had a good conversation with the coaches. I've spoken to some of the senior players, and we're all now looking forward to getting on camp in a couple of weeks. We've got the EFL camp to start with, and we've got Portugal for a week's training camp, and then the tournament starts, and we're into it. And the excitement building up to it now and around it is excellent.
And what's the reaction been like from the players? Because you know them so well, especially the young players. It's obvious that they really enjoy playing under you. Have you spoken with them?
Yeah, not so much the younger ones. I mean, I've got them on camp next week, so I'll have a meeting with them and a good chat with them. But like I said, I know the younger ones anyway. The senior ones, as a group, I think they've been excellent since November's camp, and in March certainly. I think they've reacted in a positive way. They've not let things affect them. And they've gone on with their work as normal, and that speaks volumes about them as a group of players.
It's been such a difficult time for everyone involved. Does this almost feel like the calm after the storm now? It's all died down. We know exactly who's who's doing what, and all the focus now turns to the summer. Yeah, absolutely. And they haven't let outside influence affect them. They've been quite calm throughout all the process, and I hope that continues. We don't take our foot off the gas now. We don't relax. We up the intensity, if anything, and we get them ready mentally and physically now for the tough tournament. You've mentioned the training camps. You've mentioned Portugal. How are all the preparations going ahead of the Euros? Because guaranteed you'll be pretty busy over the next couple of months.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I can't speak highly enough of the staff, the backroom staff, what they do, behind the scenes, the organisation that goes into it. Pre-COVID is demanding enough, but with COVID on top of that as well, the things we've got to do from a medical point of view and logistics and trying to organise flights is another level, So I've got nothing but respect for the staff and the work they do. And that goes unseen. That goes without the coaches and the football. But everything's done. We're just crossing a few more of the T's now and dotting the I's and getting things in place for the Portugal camp, especially, and that should be done in the next couple of days. And then we look forward to it and getting full focus then on the tournament.
I know someone's already mentioned the 26-man squad change that UEFA have announced, but how much of a help is that to you? Because for the last World Cup qualifiers, you named a very large squad, and even that, between the injuries, even a 32 or 33-man squad didn't feel that large by the end, did it?
Yeah, no, that's right. And anything can happen. Even with COVID, if somebody gets in contact with somebody with COVID, they've got to isolate. So you're going to need that squad, absolutely. So for me, it's a positive. It's not a negative at all. I'm all for the 26-man squad. It's been an unprecedented season. Demand on the players in recent weeks has been exceptional. We're playing 2 games a week and competing, and some in the playoffs and some fighting to stay up. So the demands on those players have been, exceptional. So to get an extra 3 to pick, some of them are just coming back to fitness as well. So it gives us an extra couple of weeks grace maybe to get them back up to full fitness, ready for the tournament. So yeah, I don't see anything but positives for the additional 3.
And how much of a boost is that to perhaps the fringe players that, were kind of on the edges? I think you've got a season ticket at Stoke by this point this season. Is there anyone recently that's caught your eye that you think, okay, now that I've got those 3 extra spaces?
Yeah, well, you're right. It does give some of the other ones that are thinking, will I, won't I be part of the squad? I was at Stoke last Saturday, actually. Funny you say that. So, anywhere the Welsh players are, I'm out watching. And you're right to say that. Some of the fringe players will now think, well, I might get a chance. And that's the attitude they've got to have and play, to the best that they possibly can. And it's out of their hands now. All they can do every game they play in is give it their best.
Just 2 more from me. Harry Wilson, Gareth Bale both scored hat-tricks recently. What have you made of their performances?
Yeah, I thought the goals were outstanding. I spoke to both players after the games, and I was as excited as what they were for them. Going into a tournament as a striker, you want to be scoring goals. You want to get that confidence. Great to see Gareth back playing as we know he can do. And Harry's always had goals in him. It's been frustrating for him at Cardiff, but I think Cardiff have done exceptionally well this season since Mick's taken over and got them from sort of, mid-table up to nearly in contention for the playoffs. So Harry's been a part of that, full of confidence, and Gareth's back scoring goals. So it's a win-win.
Just last one from me, just to follow up on Beth's question. Did you ever think in 2016 that you'd be sat in front of a laptop in front of all of us about to lead Wales to their 2nd major tournament? Just how proud do you feel right now?
Yeah, exceptionally proud. Yeah. No, I didn't think for 1 minute. To be part of the association, it's a great job. To work with these players day in day out now for the next few weeks is going to be a great experience, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Diolch yn fawr, Rob. Thank you.
Diolch, thank you.
Diolch, Sioned. Move on to Phil Cadden.
Morning, Rob. Hope you're well.
Morning, Phil. All good. Hope you are.
Yeah, all good. You must have your own managerial ambitions. Do you see this as an audition now for the job further down the line?
Look, I'm in charge at the minute, and of course, it's not going to go unnoticed what's happened previously and what's going to happen in the summer. I'm not in control of that. What I want to do now is focus on getting these players ready for a big tournament. And if we're successful, understandably, my name's going to be attached to that. If we're not, it's also going to be attached to it. So my focus is not on about, with me now and what my career is all about. My focus is now on getting these players ready for a tournament we're really looking forward to and we want to compete.
Results have been really good recently. How would you view a successful tournament this summer?
Well, we're going to take each game as it comes. Sounds cliche, but it's a pathetic answer, isn't it? But it sounds cliche. We just take each game as it comes, honestly. And whenever it takes us, and we've got to keep that momentum rolling. At this minute in time, we're in a good place. Welsh football's in a very good place, and I want to continue that momentum. We've got some tough friendlies coming up. We've got 2 great camps before that, so we'll have them in the right frame of mind to prepare ready. We're not overly concerned about the 2 friendlies, but we want to keep that momentum going so that, come Switzerland, we're ready to go.
Yeah, you've brought in Kit Simons as an extra backroom member. Yeah. Is there any prospect you might call Chris Coleman for advice because of his tournament experience as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I've spoke with Kit. I met with Kit. He's obviously close with Chris and sees him, quite regularly. And he's echoed that sentiment that, Chris is there if need be. So, of course, when you've when you've got friends in the game that have been through that experience and witnessed it firsthand, it'd be foolish of me not to phone him and speak to him. So, yeah.
Can I just ask the logistics of how you're going to name your squads? How many players will go to Portugal, and when will you actually whittle it down to 26?
Well, we're undecided on that at the moment because there's still a couple of weeks of the Premiership season to go to. So, yeah, we've got a little bit more than the 26 that we can select. So that squad will be going out in the next couple of days, or the players will be informed about that. And then it's the 1st of June. Then the squad has to be announced by.
Yeah, and finally from me, is Ethan Ampadu an injury doubt at the moment? You said there's one or two that might be struggling for the first game.
No, the one or two I was talking about was the ones we know, which is Ben and who's the other one?
Joe,
thanks. Ben and Joe, yeah. So they're the ones, that 26-man squad gives us that little bit of grace, to get them back up the track. Ethan's played really well this season. He's played a multitude of positions. He's going to pick up little knocks and strains along the way, but no, there's no concern there from Ethan's point of view.
Sorry, one last one. When you said that there might be the possibility of playing golf in Baku, was that a request from the players?
No, not Baku. Sorry, Portugal. In the camp, there's got to be that balance, Phil. Of there's a lot of work that needs to be done in Portugal, but it can't all be work. We need them mentally fresh as well going into Baku.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks, Phil. Tom Colossi.
Hi, Rob.
How are you doing? Okay.
Yeah, good. Thanks. Congratulations. You mentioned speaking to the senior players. Have you spoken to Gareth Bale since you were confirmed in charge for the Euros? And if so, can you give us a sense of what that conversation was like?
No, it was just checking how he was, from a footballing point of view. He's the captain at the end of the day, and to have that coach and captain relationship is really important, So I spoke to him on every other camp before that in November and in March. We'd sit down and I'd have a conversation with him. So it was no different. I just wanted to touch base with him and see how he was and make sure that we're all ready and looking forward to the camps coming up.
Daph mentioned about the racist abuse that Rabbi Matondo had received again. It's only come out in the last hour or so, but have you spoken to him yet? And if so, if not, do you plan to speak to him?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll speak to him this afternoon. The FAW have been in touch with him this morning to give our 100% support. And, like I said, we've got zero tolerance when it comes to things like that. So we'll be in contact with him and give him any support that he needs.
Finally, from me, in the Premier League and the EFL, largely teams have taken the knee throughout the season and the message seems to have been mainly well received. Would you like to see something similar at the European Championships, an obvious, tangible gesture that everybody can see and learn from?
Whatever we need to do to make awareness, we'll do it. Absolutely. We're fully supportive of it. Taking the knee is a split opinion. Some think, is it really having the impact it needs? Ultimately, we need to raise awareness. So whatever we need to do to raise awareness and stop this, we'll absolutely back it 100%.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Okay, James Nursey.
Hi, Rob. Morning.
Hi, James.
A few of your key players like Bale, Ramsey, Harry Wilson, that their futures are potentially going to be up in the air this summer. I noticed Harry Wilson, for example, after he scored his hat-trick, was saying how he wants to do well at the Euros. He's got that extra incentive because if he does well there, it can help him get a move or get back in at Liverpool. With that in mind, while I appreciate the player doesn't need any extra motivation to play for his country, do you feel that could actually help you? Because some of these players, if they do well this summer for you, it's going to really help their club careers as well.
Yeah, first and foremost, there's nothing better than playing for your country. That'll be their main reason to come in. They want to play for Wales. They enjoy getting together. They enjoy the camps. I've said before, it is like a club environment. And that's credit to the players. They create that environment where I've only seen a club level before. It's hard to do it at international level, but these boys have got it. They've got that camaraderie and relationship together. So first and foremost, playing for your country is the best thing as a professional footballer. And then you have your individual reasons for wanting to do well. Of course you do. There's no different. We all want to play at the top. We all want the best careers we possibly can as players. And it'll be no different. So if Harry's said that, I get it. I absolutely get it. He wants, he doesn't want to play championship football for the rest of his career. Knowing Harry as I do, he's ambitious. He wants to play at the very top. and compete against the best week in, week out. So, yeah, from a selfish point of view, he's going to want to have a good summer and put his name out there and be recognised. So he's just one of many that will have that same attitude.
And during the previous camp, we obviously remember there were 3 players sent home, one there for COVID breaches. I noticed you said earlier that you're going to tell the players to keep calling you Pagey, but they must have got the message as well. I imagine that equally there's a side to you that clearly you don't want to be crossed as well as boss now.
Absolutely, and I think they know that. Listen, I'm quite relaxed, believe it or not, on camp. But if you cross the line, there's going to be a consequence, and that's it. I've got zero tolerance with ill discipline. We're here because we all want to be successful. To do that, we need a maturity about us and a bit of class about us. And if you fall short of that, like I said, there'll be a consequence. So I've sent the message out to the staff and to the players, and that's how we'll continue to move forward. Thanks for your time. Best of luck. Pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, James. And then finally, Ben Fisher.
Rob, quick one. Obviously, you said that Joe and Ben, you're hopeful they're going to be fit for the tournament. Are they kind of touch and go? Are you confident that they will be there, albeit maybe they might not be able to perform straight away?
Oh no, they'll be there. They'll be there. It's how soon we can get them in. So I've got an EFL camp, for argument's sake, in a couple of weeks. It's can we get them involved in that? If not, they'll definitely be in Portugal. So it's managing them, that sort of build up to their first game. So the 2 friendlies will be important, and we'll organise some game time for them in Portugal. The last day will be a little game where players like Ben and Joe will benefit from having those minutes. And that's the plan. It's building them back up to full fitness in a sympathetic way that they need to from an individual point of view as well.